Right, welcome back to Chaz Koi, everyone. After my last video, I was cleaning up my replacing the filter sponges. I bowled up a couple of my koi because I wanted to take some pictures, and I noticed a couple of them had a bit of blemishes on them. So this video is just like a little bit of a canter through how I went about identifying what the issues were, how I've basically done a treatment. So I've tried to break this down into my learning process. So as everyone always says on these videos, this isn't how you should do it, this is how I've done it. But this is how I've done it for the very, very first time, being someone who's learned all this stuff on YouTube and talking to people who I trust in and who I've seen do these things before. So again, shouts out to, as always, Eden Koi, Dave, thank you so much for your videos, your tuition and your advice. And also when I popped into my local koi dealers up at Clearwater Koi in Ashford in Kent, they were super helpful and gave me some good advice and put me in touch with somebody as well that they know that has also kind of helped steer me through a couple of things that I was getting a bit of a muddle in at the time. So yeah, I'm going to give a quick intro and then I'll just kind of talk through. I've done more detailed videos from the point I'd kind of identified what the problem was and how I've treated it. Again, this is the first time that I've done it, so I was really focused on the fish for the first bit, but when I kind of did the treatment I had a bit more time to kind of take some videos and stuff. So yeah, I hope you find this one informative. Please give me your thoughts in the comments. How would you approach this? How have you approached this? I'm all ears. Let's crack on. Oh, I'm not talking. So there's some raised scales on the side here and here on this one there. This kind of white bit on its fin has been with it on it since I got it. Actually, I thought it might have been like a, I don't know, but that's say pretty consistent. And there's another a bit of something on its tail here, look, on the bottom. Yeah, this is the mark here on the back of this one here, see, and it's kind of going across here under the fin and up the back of the fin. And in terms of where it's looking like it's sort of coming down the side here, let's see if I can zoom in while it's stationary. There we go. There is this one. There we go, much better view now they've calmed a bit. Focus. And then try and get some close up on the scales on this one. You can see there the back of that's fin. Right, it's the day after. I've been to the my local koi shop, Clearwater Koi, which was good. Bumped into Keith from Seabers up there, which was great. I bought some FMG, so I've obviously talked through what I did with my scrapes and everything. So I'm going to prepare the tank to administer that today. What I'm going to do is a filter clean and at least a 10% water change. I have just serviced the filter and put new sponges in it, so that's all good. And there's no, I will check, but there's no like build up of mucker in there or anything. So the water's all good. I did the water parameters check a couple of days ago and that was all fine, so that's all good. A couple of other things in terms of like precautions and stuff. I'm going to fill my bowl up with pond water, and I'm going to put a cover over that and keep it for at least the next couple of days. So if the fish do start to react badly to that treatment, I can just hoik them out and stick them in the bowl. And again, I might not remember this, but when I did my filter setup and I did my airlines, I've got a manifold down here. I'll flip you around over here, and I've got. Oh, can you see it? Hang on. It's not great. These ones are running my moving bed filter. These ones go to my bottom drain, and I've got a couple of spares here, so I can always run an airline off that manifold into that bucket. And I know, although it's not ideal, it's got a decent amount of depth to it, and I can at least put some in there. I mean, it might be just while I like drain the tank, and then gradually refill it to dilute it with the fish that might not be reacting quite so bad. And then I can pour all that back in again and it'll help dilute it. So I'm just trying to cover my options. I mean, I think with this stuff, I mean, as long as you dose it right, it's not like PP as I understand, but I've never used this. So that's what I'm going to do. Before I start any of that though, I was looking at one of the other fish and I did notice a mark on one of the others and another little bit of what looks like fungus or a bit of fin rot on one of the others. So I've got a book. I'm just going to make a list of all the fish and make a note of any observations. So any marks, I might do a little drawing of like what stuff looks like. I don't just want to rely on photos because that's just you know, it's good, but I could just get quite easily overwhelmed with a load of pictures, and it doesn't take very well through the water. So I'd rather just make a note, and then like once the treat, because I think as soon as I get that treatment in there, it's going to change the colour of water. I'm not going to necessarily be able to see very well. So like in a week's time when it starts to clear and I can see them again and I've done a water change, I can then refer back to my notes and think, okay, has that improved or has that got worse? So they're just a few things I'm doing. I've got some great advice off of Dave from Even Koi, thank you Dave, and also at my local Clearwater Koi added me to a WhatsApp group, and some Stuart in there was really helpful. And it was the things like if you've got a backy shower, you need to take your media out and stick it in the water body for the treatment. Obviously it all gets soaked, because obviously if it's splashing it's not going to be continuously soaked, and any other sort of nets, tools, stuff that goes in the water needs to go in there as well. So I'll probably stick my net in there, or maybe not actually, because I want to get stuff caught in there. I might maybe treat the bowl and then stick it in there or do something else with that. But yeah, stop the waffling. So the other thing is I'm going out in about an hour and a half, so I might get it ready, get my water ready, get the fresh water in there, and then do it when I get back later today or early tomorrow, so that I'm here and I can observe, because I did want to do this earlier today, but I've just run out of time. So again, I'm keen to get this done, but I don't want to dose and run in case then I come back a couple of hours later and there's a problem and I can't deal with it. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to do my observations, do my water change, do my filter clean, and then when I get back, probably about 5 o'clock, 5:30 tonight, I'll stick that treatment in, and I've got a good sort of 3-4 hours before I go to bed and watching them and that. So yeah, I'm also out tomorrow, otherwise I'd do it tomorrow morning and then have a full day, but I need to get this treatment here because the fish are looking okay. There's no flicking or flashing, but there's obviously been some distress in there, otherwise they wouldn't have knocks and bumps on them, would they? So I just need to crack on. Right, so I've actually going to do a bit more of a deep clean. So where my water like level rises and falls, sometimes my water's up to this level, and obviously now it's here. It normally is between here and here, but there's always been like obviously all the grime, the biofilm builds up, but some of this is dry, some of it's wet, some of it's in between. So I thought, you know what, the FMG is only going to kill the parasites and whatever, this area that's in contact with water, and actually I'm going to fill this right to the brim when I put the treatment in. But then that's going to make the stuff that was dry wet again, so I thought, let's just get rid of it. So I've cleaned around the edge with a scouring pad. I'm not going under much more of this because I don't want to lose the biofilm underneath. Yeah, bits that again that sort of protrude partially out the water, like the float switch, giving that clean, the hose, you know, my return. And actually also what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get the pressure washer out and just blast around the edge of here, because whilst again it's not dirty, aesthetically it look better, and I might as well just get everything clean. We've got a few, I put to stop the fish jumping, because remember I lost a fish down the back here it was, and I put some of these pipe insulation bits in as like jump protection. Again, they just had a bit of like algae, a bit of grime on them, so I've cleaned all that stuff off. And actually as well, where there's like my air coming out, I try not to drop my phone in the pond, some of this is like getting calcified, look, so it's like, you know, that's not adding anything, it's just a reinfection risk, isn't it really? So yeah, I just thought I'd look back in, and actually I realised when I was talked earlier about getting this treatment that I was rushing, and if you're rushing you should stop. So I thought I'll spend some time, give it a bit more of a thorough clean, and then when I go back later on I'll put the treatment in. So yeah, happy days. So just cleaning my return, and I thought, I wonder what it's like in there. Look at this. Oh dear. It doesn't smell, but that's going to be all in that pipe, isn't it? Like, let's be realistic. Oh my god. So even if I purge that, I've purged that 100% on the pump the other day. So again, that's another maintenance point, isn't it? Right, I know you can buy like hose attachments with like drain cleaner bits on it. I can't delay this, I've got to get it done today. So I've come into my shithole shed, look at the state of it, and I'm going to try and do a quick bodge. So I've got my hose, garden hose. I'm going to try and either block that and drill holes in the side, or I'm going to try and melt it shut and then see if we can make one. Here we go, so I've got my vise, I'm going to heat it, squash it. Squish, squish, squish. There we go. Let's just heat that out again. Looks like it's working, doesn't it? Oh, yeah, you were there, weren't you? Right. So, so far so good. Do you know what? I was going to do it again that way. It doesn't need to come out that way, the water, does it? It just needs to come out the sides. So I'm going to open the vise back up. So what I've done is I've just folded that in there, and then I'm just going to heat that from the above and below and then squish it shut again. See if we're going to work or it won't. Let's go. Oh shit, I'm dropping the heat gun. Oh my god. Oh. Right, that'll do. Squish, squish, squish. I don't want to pinch it too much. I don't want to crack it, like. So hopefully let that set a bit. This might work, you know. Check that out. Look, it's done. Just a bit of cable tie on it to keep it smooth on the inside, so that I'll just fold that down so it doesn't catch. So I'm gonna drill some holes in here, just a couple, and then try it out. Awesome. So there's my drill bit, 2 mil one. It's a HSS steel one. I don't want to. Got quite good water pressure where we are, so I'm going to go around and just do that around the other side, give it clean and try it out. Right, so there we go. Look at that. That's only on ever so slightly, like. I could probably drill some more holes in there, to be fair, I reckon. Yes. I think that's enough. Like, let's turn it up. Turn the tap right up, shall we? Like, that's incredible. Hey. Anyway, oh, what am I doing? Right, it's a bit of an experiment. I've just cleaned out my filter sock, so I'm going to put that back on there, and I'm going to try and feed my hose in through there and catch all the crap in there to see what it brings out. So I'm going to turn my pump on. I'm going to turn it down low because I literally just want some flow, because I'm going to get a load more water out of there, but it's just to stop the crap back flowing into the pump. So yeah, let's see what we can do. Fits. Oh, hang on. I haven't cleaned the hose, and that's been out in the garden. I need to do that. Right, I got it about a metre in. Look at that. Absolute monstrosity of a fuck up. What is that? Like, literally about a metre in. Wow. So holy shit, literally, fuck, excuse my French. Right, so this reminded me that because I was going to put my veg filter up there, I'd left a bit of extra slack on this hose to run it right round there. So I'm not going to do that now, right? So I'm going to cut all that slack off, repump that, and then blast the rest of it through, because that's shocking. Right, here we go. How long do we want to get the pipe in? Measure the pipe. Yeah, hang on. Right, so this return pipe goes back to my heater, so I don't want to go all the way in. So I've just measured like the rough length of pipe. Let's turn this up full whack, shall we? Look. Oh God. That's my line now. I don't go any further than that. I'm going to go to the heat element of the way. So, right, okay, let's give that a stop. Oh God, stop. That's absolutely disgraceful. Right, what I'm going to do, because I think I'm probably coming in here now, so I'm just going to go a little bit further, and then I'm going to pull it back out and we'll have a look at that water. That's disgraceful. So that's just off of that little bit of hose that goes into there. I obviously need to do this and all of these, I would have thought. And the return, so this one here, but I can't do that now, so I might have to do that in a minute. Right. Right, so there's the result. I poured all that bucket of manky water through there. So I mean, there's some, obviously it's not all filtering through, but that's disgusting. Let's just pour that out. Oh God. Let's see what we're dealing with. I mean, there's a lot of sludge and muck in there, isn't there? So, right, so there's the old pipe I've cut off my over bit. New return fitted. Blast this round, and then I'm going to block. You know, the water's gone really murky now. It was beautifully clear. So, obviously that dirt was already in the water column anyway, wasn't it? But it's just been disturbed. So, I'm pleased I've done this. So I've got to get this put back together now. So, right. So yeah, I've just pressure washed around there, made the windows all dirty, so rinsed all that off. Again, it didn't really need doing, but why not? And also I've done both sides of my netting as well, and my windows. So yeah, gonna let that run now. I've got just the aerated bottom drain going, just to drag any muck through. I mean, the water still looks pretty clear, to be honest, but it's obviously going to have a lot of sediment in there. Look, it's still looking all right. So yes, let's put it all back together. Right, so morning of treatment going in. One last look at the old fishy wishes. Again, they all look alright. I mean, obviously they're spooked, so I turn the air off. So I just want to get a good look at them. So they're hiding. They're not clamping or doing any flicking or flashing. Really, I think I might have seen a little flash on the black and white, and I can't remember what they're called. Yesterday, but obviously as you can see, they all look quite happy, quite sociable. It's coming up for food yesterday. Obviously you can see the water's gone nice and clear now. So I left it overnight. Gave it a good blast, ran the pump nice and fast to get any sediment out of the tank. There's nothing in there. And then I turned it down slowly overnight, just to like 25% or something, 20%, just to, and then running it through me. I felt there was hardly anything in there. So again, I've just done another little clean this morning. I'm just giving it a little top up. Final water change. You can see, yeah, they're happy enough down there, aren't they? So there we go. Right, so air's back on. I've put the aerated bottom drain on a little bit, and obviously we're moving bed filter, so that's all going. Oh yeah, and also look, this is all pond water in here, and I've got an air stone in there as well, with a cover on that bad boy, just in case I need to wipe them out. And again, I can just run that off this manifold like I was saying on my other video. So that's all good, ready to go. I will check the temperature once we finish topping up, because that will adjust it. We're on 13.2 degrees. And also what I've done is I've set the heater to pretty much that temperature. That light wasn't on a second ago, I don't think. So again, I've had that just to keep it at above 12.5 and to keep it stable for at least the first few days of treatment. It says you can't use this treatment under 12.5 degrees, so that's cool, because it was like at 13.2 yesterday. So hopefully the heater won't be on a lot to keep it at that temperature at the moment. So I'm going to do one last water test. Although I did it the other day, I did disturb it a lot with that clean yesterday, so we should do that in a second. But again, yeah, so that's the clarity. Oh yeah, the other reason that I slowed the water down over filtering last night was obviously just let it run through the filter nicely and slowly, but also to give it more dwell time over the UV as well, just to let that have a maximum effect, because I've got to turn that off as well. So yeah, let's stop the waffle. This is all set up and running now, so that's all good. Let's get this done. Right, so here's a pH. I think it's about 7. I think it's 7.5. It's difficult to tell. It was closer to 8 last time, but remember I was flicking between the 2 last time. So yeah, I'm going to go with like 7.5, 8. So that's gone down slightly since last time. Okay, so here's my other water parameters. So ammonia, I'm quite happy that's 0. Nitrite has gone up ever so slightly. I mean, there's a very slight tinge on that. Hardly noticeable really, but I'm going to say there is something there, so I'm going to go between those 2. And again on nitrate, slight improvement from last time. Before it was like quite clearly on the 20, whereas now I think it's probably closer to the 10, but ever so slightly over. So I'm just going to go again just between those 2. So there we are. That's what we're going with for those, so happy with that. Right, so I'm just about to calculate my dosage of the old FMG premix. So on this one I'm using the Costia one. And I'm just going to talk you through kind of how I'm getting my head around this one, because I don't want to mess it up. I've seen too many videos on YouTube where dosages aren't quite right, but also I don't want to overdose and I don't want to underdose, because if you underdose, obviously the treatment isn't strong enough and it won't have the effect on the parasites and it won't kill them all off. And that's why I think, you know, I don't want to be kind of repeat dosing unnecessarily and then again underdosing and the treatment not working as effectively, because that's just not what we need. So a few considerations: 1, water volume, water temperature. We've sorted the cleanliness and the water parameters, and then there's obviously the strength of the solution. So I'm just going to walk you through kind of how I've got my head around each of those. Right, first one for me is tank volume. Now for me that's quite easy because I've got the IBC. When I cleaned it the other day, I cleaned out this bit here which has got the scale on it. You probably can't see it, but that line there is 1,000 litres and it's marked all down the side. There you can see that it says 900 there, look. So I'm quite confident that that is 1,000 litres, and if you're asking, yes, I'm in my dressing gown because it's like 6 o'clock in the morning. Right, and in here we've got the pressure filter. Now I've looked in the instruction manual, that's got an internal volume of 16 litres. And then obviously we've got my heater, the pump and all of the pipe work. So what I've done is I've measured the length of all the pipe work. I've got 2 different sizes. This has got an internal volume of 25mm, and I've also got a slightly thicker 40mm there that goes to the IBC. And obviously I've got some big fittings here as well, these elbows and stuff. So what I've done to try and keep this simple is I've got a bit of my hose and I've literally just laid it on the pipes and used that to kind of just eat around the pipe, so I can then more easily than trying to use that tape measure, you know, get the length of the hose, measure the length of the hose and tape measure to calculate my pipe lengths. So the ones I need to be concerned with, I don't need to worry about the waste. So it's obviously from the tank into the pump, and then the pump into the filter through the heater, and then the return back to the pond. So I've measured all of those and I've got 3 meters worth of the 25mm. And actually what I did, because I've got these fittings here and the internal volume of the pump, this bit is all electrics at the top. The actual bit that the water goes through is down here at the bottom, so it's actually quite small. And then obviously we've got this long big fitting here and then through the pump, and again the only bit that the water goes through is this blue bit. So for simplicity, I've just measured from here to here, from here to there, and then from there to there, and I've classed that all as 40mm pipe, which is this thickness here. So I'm thinking that's probably about right for those bits. And I've got, so taking into consideration all that bit, I've got 1.5 meters of 40mm pipe. So now I've got tank volume, pipe volume, pump, heater and filter. So that's all of my internal water volumes sorted. Okay, so you would have seen actually when I showed you the tank volume, internal volume was slightly under the 1,000 litre mark. Now that's intentional because I'm going to be putting this treatment into a watering can. And the watering can, I think, is like 8 litres. So I've got that little bit of top up to go there. And then once I've got all the treatment in and it's all working, I'm just going to top the tank up to that maximum level, so that I know, again, I think it's when I did my cleaning video, that it's going to take it right up to the you know, the surface, so the treatment can access every area of the inside of the tank. So I'm just going to talk you through now kind of like how I've done my measurements. I've used an online pipe internal volume calculator tool to work out the volume of those pipes. And whilst I'm talking now, I'll probably just shift this over here, and I'll put the screen recording up in the side there, so you can see that you put the internal volume in of the pipe, you put in the length of the pipe, and you can change the what they call like the units, if you're in millimeters, feet, inches, or whatever. And if you're working gallons, obviously you can do that as well. I'm obviously working litres because I'm, you know, millennial or whatever. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing, and I'm just going to talk you through kind of how all that adds up. Yeah, so here we go. I've written it all down in my book. So tank 1,000 litres, the filter is 16. I've got 3 metre 25mm pipe, which is 1.5 litres, and 40mm pipe, 1.5 metres, which is 2 litres. So yeah, I mean, what we got there, 3.5 litres extra and 16 litres extra for the filter. So yeah, that's my total water volume, 1,019.5 litres. So in terms of dosage, I mean, like, come on guys, this writing is so small, it's absolutely ridiculous. I've got new glasses lately, and I'm pleased to have. Right, where are we? So use 10 millilitres per 454 litres. Yeah, there's your gallons there. Look, but yeah, look, millilitres and gallons, craziness. Right, so 100 millilitres per 454 litres of water. Drip 3 times. Do not overdose. Oh yeah, overdosing may cause fish fatality. Look at all the warnings on this stuff, like burns your skin, kills fish and harms the environment, like toxic danger, whatever. It's like yeah, I mean, I know it's the first time I'm using it, and a lot of other YouTubers are also used this before. I'm really confident with it, but anyways, in terms of calculating this as a dosage, let's flip back to my notebook. So yeah, I am writing all this down just to make sure that I'm keeping myself honest with this stuff, and if I do mess it up, at least I can come back to it. So 10 millilitres per 454 litres. So the calculation here is my total volume in litres divided by the dosage per litres. So yeah, 1,019.5 divided by 454 is 2.25. So that's 2.25 doses of 10 millilitres. So yeah, quite simple. 2.25 doses at 10 millilitres is a total dose of 22.5 millilitres. So that is, I mean, this is supplied with a measuring cap for my my setup. Oh yeah, look, 20 mil. It's probably just brimming that, isn't it? So I can go 20 mil, and then I need another 2.5. Oh, there we go. Look, 2.5 millilitres at the bottom there. So that's what I've calculated. Now, again, in terms of just like checking my workings, because it's easy to do these things wrong. On the bottle, I mean, this is a 250 millilitres bottle, right? So it says that treats 11,365 litres. So my thinking is, even if you just do like mental arithmetic on this stuff, if you divide that by what's that, 11,000 litres, I've got say 1,000 litres, so that should treat me about 10-11 times that bottle. Just doing like high level math, 10-11 times. So if I divided that by sort of like 10, that gives me 10 25 millilitre doses, and I've got 25, so that's about right, isn't it? Yeah, so that's, you know, I know that what I'm waffling here is that I've checked my workings at a high level. That should give me about 10-11 doses, and actually 10-11, that's about 10-11 doses worth. So I'm happy that I've calculated that right, so now it's just a case of just making sure that I put the right amount in. So it is literally a case of 22.5 millilitres. You know, I use the supplied thing, and that'll be happy days. So in terms of just double checking my dosages again, I've written this down. I'm going to go and get everything ready. I'm going to measure it out, and then I'm just going to check my workings again before I pour it in. But one thing I think it's worth just doing as well is just doing a quick check, just a quick sense check on your numbers. So on the front of this bottle, it says there, look, treats, what's it, 11,000 odd litres, right? And there's 250 millilitres in that. Okay, so where I've got my dosage calculated at like 22.5 millilitres, I'm going to get about 10 out of this, aren't I, in terms of that dosages. So when you look at the 10 millilitres per 454 millilitres dosage that it says on the back, if I roughly double that, that's about 20 mils. Again, I'm just doing like high level, like that feels about right. And I think it's important to do that because where my dosage is 22.5 millilitres, like in all of that calculation I've just done there, right, between litres and millilitres and millimetres and metres and all that sort of stuff, like very easily in there somewhere I could have got a decimal point wrong, or when I was using it on like calculator I could have put the wrong like measurement in, and that could throw that out quite easily by a factor of 10, right? So if that had happened and I'd come up with this calculation and it's saying rather than 22.5 millilitres it said 225, like one decimal point difference, that would be that whole bottle. Now that's quite a small bottle, isn't it? And they sell these in big bottles. so for a first timer doing this, it could be quite easy to think, oh yeah, 250 ml, that's the whole bottle. Glug, 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 glug. You know, that writing's tiny, you can't read it. So yeah, I know that feels like a bit of a waffle, but again, in terms of just like, I've done my detailed calculations, I'm sure I've got it right. But I've just done like a quick sense check based on what it says on the front of the bottle. And yes, I'm confident with that. So yeah, it's time to just get that in the tank now, I think. I'm just going to quickly jump in here because I've just gone onto the website. It's a week or two after I put the treatment in, and had a look at the instructions on this online, and they're slightly different to the instructions on the bottle. And it actually recommends that you do not feed whilst you're putting this treatment in your pond because it will knock back the bacteria in your filter ever so slightly, so it could cause an ammonia spike. So I just thought I'd chuck that in. I might put a screenshot in of the instructions that are on the website, but I'd suggest you check it and maybe do that for all treatments just to double check that the label matches current guidance. So yeah, back to the video. Right, so there's the old trusty watering can. I've given it a good clean and rinsed out of boiling water. So this has had a good shake. My measuring cap. I'm going to put the 2.5 mils in first. To that very bottom one. Actually, hang on. To make this easier, look, I've got a medicine spoon. Right. It does say to use gloves with this stuff. I'm just going to have to be really careful I don't get any on my skin. So put a little bit of pond water in that bad boy. So there we are, look, here we go. Oh mate, I'm going to get a bit of cloth. Oh no, sod it, here we go. Right, there's my 2.5 mil. Done. And now 20 mil on here. Let's focus to that line at the top there. There we go. Let it rinse out. Yeah, this stuff is very blue. Right, okay, now let's go and get that topped up. Right, so Yeah, let's top this up now. Make sure that's all nice and mixed in. I put a couple of jugs of water in there before I put the treatment in it, just so that because sometimes when treatments can be quite thick, they can just coat the bottom of the vessel, but if you put it into water first, then obviously that doesn't happen. And we can give that a good old stir. Oh, I'll get a stick in there, give that a swirl round. Yes, right, let's get it done. Okay, so it says to put it in the tank over the course of an hour. I think what I'm going to do, or what I am going to do, is I'm going to put that in 4 goes with a sprinkler. So I'll put a quarter of that watering can in, it's 10 litres, so I'll set 2.5 litres in at a time, just roughly. I set a timer for 15 minutes and then I'll just come back and do the rest. And then I think what I'll do, obviously I'm going to keep an eye on the fish. I'm going to just do the same. I'm probably going to set like a 20-minute timer, I think, on my phone. And then every 20 minutes I'm just going to pop out and have a look at them, and I'm going to write that down in my book just to make sure it keeps me honest for at least the first couple of hours, so just keeping an eye on them. And then I'll go to like once an hour and just see what they do over the course of today. So let's get that treatment in the tank. How much is that? A bit more. Oh, that's about a third. That's a bit much for the first one, to be fair. Yeah, I've put in about a third of that, I think. So there we go, that's what we're now dealing with. Everything's gone a bit blue. So, yes. I'm going to put the cover back on and come back out in about 15 minutes or so. Right, let's get the UV unplugged. Come on. There we go, pumps on, air's on, heater's on. I've got that on my thing so I can see when that's kicking in or not. Right, let's get it done. Right, time has gone off for the second lot. But before I put it in, just check everyone's happy. Now look alright, to be fair. No, you can't really see, but they're looking a little bit spooked. But moving around alright. One's accounted for. No one's floating. So yeah, that's okay. Slot in. Ooh. That'll do for that one. They are behaving exactly as I'd expect, a bit spooked. Bless them. Right, half an hour in. So it's coming out to put the third lot in from the old watering can. Let's just turn that air off a sec. Yeah, they're all not happy, are they? Not showing any signs of distress, I would say. Moving around quite normally like they would be if they're spooked, like they obviously are. Yeah. To just see this one here moving because he was just on his side a little bit under there, but they do that sometimes. So yeah, no, that's cool. Let's get this next batch in. Not to spill that everywhere. And we've got a little bit left in there. When we're done, that's all going alright in there. Filter's still running. What have I got that on at? I can't remember what I left it on at. I think That's going quite high actually. Oh no, wrong way. I was going to put that back down to about 30. There we go. Lovely. UV's off, yep, oh, that's cool. Okay, I thought I'd keep that on there and then I can just give that a nice clean. So I can clean that without having to dump water, can't I? So that just gives me another little bit just to make sure the water quality is good. But yeah, so that's, yeah, 3/4 of the old dosage in. So far so good. Alright, so there we go. So I did my math slightly wrong on the old timings of doing it every 15 minutes. If I did it every 15 minutes, I'd put all of that in 45 minutes. So I just waited another 15 minutes before putting the last dose in. So it's an hour since I put the first lot in. And they're going all seem okay-ish. Obviously again, just a bit spooked, so I'll turn the old air off again. Is that in there? Yuck. So yeah, let's get this last little bit in. That's what we've got left. Actually get every last drop of that in, and I will actually, I was going to say I could slop that out, but I don't think I need to. That's all in there now, isn't it? So there we go. That's all of the FMG treatment in there now. Again, happy with how they're looking in there. Sorry about the old glare going on. Come over here, see if we get a better. Yeah, it's quite good actually. I like that they've got somewhere to hide in the tank underneath that filter. They often go there when they're spooked, and that's something that, you know, if or when I make my pond, I will put something in that they can hide under, because they definitely take some form of comfort by being able to shelter under that. So yeah, happy days. I am just topping up it ever so slightly. I want to get the water level just above this little lip here. How far? I don't want to go too much higher, so I think I'll probably leave it there actually. But yeah, so that's all the treatment in. I should pop the air back on, check them, and then I think I'll check them like every 20 minutes or so, just to make sure they're doing okay in there. But they look alright, no dramas right now. Yeah, so half hour after last dose, and they're looking good. They're a bit spooked, so I've just moved the old cover off, but they were just coming up like they wanted feeding, and I'm obviously not going to be feeding them. So yeah, that's half an hour in, everything's going all right. Right, so you can see I'm dressed now, I've had a shower, I've done my hair. So it's now midday, just going to turn 12 o'clock. So I put that treatment in at 7:35 this morning. So it's about 4.5 hours afterwards, and they'll look fine, which is good. I'll spin you around in a minute and just show you them mooching about in the tank. I've just turned the air off and obviously lifted the thing up, so again they're a little bit spooked. But when I came out, they were just swimming around normally, like up and down the surface, all at different levels throughout the pond. So it wasn't like they was all at the surface or all midpoint or all down the bottom. They're all just swimming up and down. So yeah, this looks okay. So yeah, 4.5 hours in, didn't seem to have been any negative reaction. So I'll flip you around, and then I think I'll have a reflection over the next couple of days, and then I'll put this video out and we'll do another one after a week or so and see how we get on. So yeah, here we go. Sorry about the noise in the background, that's my boiler keeps kicking in because everyone's having a shower. So here we go. Again, apologies for the reflections, I can't do any better than that unfortunately, but yeah, there they are. Again, hiding underneath the filter. The two that have got the problem mostly, so it's this either a Sankey or shower, I think it's a shower, isn't it, that one, and then the Sankey's down here. Or vice versa, I was getting wrong. But yeah, no, in terms of them ones being the ones that had the most visible signs with the, as you can see on its back there, that fungus or ulcer or whatever that is there. But again, they're fine. They're just moving around completely normally. So they looks okay from what I can see at these early stages. So there we go. There we go. Not the best video because I don't want to speak them again, but you can see they're all doing all right in the tank. There we go. Happy days. And there they are, just chilling down there. And if I knocked the thing earlier, I banged it with my knee accidentally and they all moved okay. So yeah, cool. Right, it's gonna be my last one today. It's 8 o'clock in the evening. Beautiful day. They were swimming about. I've turned off the extra air now. I mean, I don't think it's getting any extra air because it's all coming from the same pump. So I'm going to leave that one off now because it's probably stressing them out being on, to be fair. But yeah, again, they're all just chilling down the bottom. They were swimming around before I switched the air off and lifted the old lid up. So all look, yeah, see that they reacted to me moving then, didn't they? So yeah, they all look all fine. The boot hinge is almost completely gone in the water now. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna just do a quick recap of today and go through my notes and then we'll be signing off. Right, it's just before I shut down, I am going to give that filter sock a little bit of a clean. I mean, there's nothing in it really, to be fair, but I might as well give that a little rinse out just to get rid of any muck. Like I said, can try and keep it clean. I'm not going to feed them tonight. Not going to feed him tonight. Yes, that's that. So yeah, I've still got my emergency bowl bubbling away here. I'm going to leave that. So no point getting rid of that at the moment. And yeah, everything's ticking along all right. Heater's not on at the minute. Just check the temperature. What we got? 13.5, 13.6. So yeah, it's pretty consistent with what it was this morning. It's been a nice day today, so I'd have thought it might have crept up a little bit, but that's good. Obviously it'll cool off a bit tonight and the heater should just come on. Yeah, so here we are. Right, so what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to go through my notebook and show you the notes that I took today, just to go through my thinking really. I mean, some of you more seasoned people might think this is a bit overkill for the treatment I've done today, but this is very much a learning experience for me today, so I wanted to make sure that I had approached it in a way that allowed me to think through this logically and double check what I was doing and making sure I didn't make any errors. And actually what I think I've set out for myself here is a process for doing treatments generally. Until at such point I feel a lot more confident with it, and I might not need that, but I might still do it anyway. But this I think has enabled me to work through it logically, reaffirm what I know and what I don't know, and as going through that process it's enabled me to think, oh wow, what about this, and check some things out. But I know that there are some other treatments like PP I've seen, for example, where there can be a lot more kind of like touch and go and like the thresholds are a lot narrower potentially, I don't know, for like fatal errors. So I think I'm up for, like, give me your advice, give me your thoughts. If you've done these sorts of things before, what do you do differently? This is the first time I've ever done this. So again, this is what I've done. I'm just trying to show you what I've learned and show myself what I've learned, and again use this as a record for looking back. Even like last time when I was doing those filter sponges, I looked back on the previous video and I was like, oh yeah, that's the way around they go. So again, I think, you know, I don't know how this is going to turn out. Today seems like it's gone all right. I won't know for another week. And then I'm going to face in and see what happens. So I will do another video to show like what's been successful or not on this one, or what I kind of do going forward on this. But yeah, this is where I'm at. Okay, end of my first day of putting the treatment in the pond. I think it's also probably worth saying that I've been umming and ahhing a lot about putting the pond in and me not having done that yet, but actually the reason I started off with a grow on tank like that was for me to experience the hobby and the technical side of it like this. So I'm really pleased actually that I've had to do a treatment and the scrapes and all this sort of stuff whilst I still got the grow on tank. And actually, like, when I build, if I build the pond, I've known now that I will put some certain features or do some certain things during the build, like I've done on my grow on tank now, to make this easier when this happens to me again, because for example putting the heater on when I built the tank was for this reason. If I knew I needed to keep the pond at a certain, or the growing at a certain temperature for treatment, for example, I wouldn't have to put that in when I put the treatment in. And it was only late last night I realised that my pond water temperature was at almost at the threshold of the FMG. So I could have been in a position where I wasn't able to do that today, whereas I knew last night, just flick the heater on and I was fine. So yeah, anyway, let me flick around. I'm going to have a quick flick through the block, just show you what I've done, and we'll go from there. Right, so yeah, so yesterday I put the observations in, and I just listed all my fish down here, and if I saw anything on them, I've just made a note on it, done a little diagram. So this is the, you know, the bigger of the two. I don't need to work out what they are. Sankey or the shower had the race scales on each side, and it's got obviously this bit of white on its dorsal fin, so I've made a note of that. You know, the little one, it's got that big mark on its side, and a bit of a mark on its fin here. Also, one of them's got a bit of fin rot on it actually, so I need to draw that on here as well. One of my crashy guys has got a very small spot on the side and a little bit of something on its fin. I think I might saw the here at Siri, I think that's what it's called, flashing today, and also on the Harku again there's a slight red spot here, like mark. So again, I've marked all these things up so I can now use this as a basis when I do my further observations in a couple of days time to see if that's improved or got worse. And just some overall observations. So yeah, no like veininess or redness in the fish, haven't really noticed any flashing, flicking or clamping. They're coming up for food, they're eating okay, they're active and seem to be shoaling and social with me and them, each other. And yeah, apart from those blemishes, they all seem to be okay. And then in terms of today, FMG treatment, so these are all my water parameter checks I did earlier, and a water temperature check. This is where I worked out on my pond volumes earlier, and how I worked out the dosage. Again, I talked through this earlier, so I don't need to go through it again, but again, I've got that as a record. So if I come back and I want to vary it, or I change something in the setup, I've got a basis here to kind of work from. And then here's my log. So literally 7:30, 0 hours. I put a third of the treatment in the pond, and then 15 minutes later put the second lot in, and then I left it, I put the third dose in 15 minutes later, and then I left it half an hour and put the fourth dose in. That's when I said in my video I'd messed the timings up slightly, but that's fine. Again, I've got a record of what I did, so I can tweak it next time if I want. And then I've just done observations, like I said, sort of every half an hour. So yeah, all good. They came up to the surface. Some were on the bottom at the, sort of half an hour later. Some on top swimming normal, yeah. And then like literally these other sort of observations I did, again, I was trying to do them sort of every sort of 30-40 minutes or so. All fine. I went out for the day after here, but actually when I did this last one before I came out, so about 6 hours later, they were all sitting under the filter. They responded me to tapping the net. I turned off the air, and they were all looking okay, but I did just notice that they just looked a little bit more kind of subdued than they were before, so I just made a bit of a note of that. But then yeah, when we got back a couple of hours later, again, all fine. And I also actually noticed that the blue tinge in the water is wearing off as well. So again, I've just made a note of these things. And again, the last observation I've done at 8 o'clock, everything seems to have been fine. So that's it for today. I'll start a new log tomorrow. If I need to, I think I might just use a little diary and just say what I've checked. Bloody cat, honestly. So yeah, so that's fine. So I think, if I have a problem, at least I've got a good record there of what the pond conditions were, how I worked everything out and what happened. So yeah, let's see what happens over the next couple of days. So thanks for watching, everyone. Appreciate that was a long watch, so congratulations if you made it to the end. It's about 2.5 weeks after I put that treatment in that I'm recording this outro today. So everything seems to have gone okay. The fish have seem to have reacted positively to it, and I can see some signs of improvement on some of the things that I was looking to put that treatment in for. Haven't done any extra scrapes yet. I'm going to do that next week, once they've kind of recovered from this treatment period. So yeah, all seems to have gone well. I'm going to do a couple of update videos as well that I've recorded since I did this treatment in this video. So again, yeah, thanks for watching, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.